The Philadelphia Phillies welcome you to Citizens Bank Park. Batting for the Phillies, Mike Schmidt, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. From the time that my father took me to Connie Mack Stadium in 1954 to see the Phillies play, I just fell in love with the ballpark atmosphere and the green grass and the Philadelphia Phillies baseball team. And I thought, boy, wouldn't it be great to be a part of this someday? Ladies and gentlemen, the 2012 Philadelphia Phillies!
I think when you hear Dan's voice, particularly from a baseball standpoint, you realize that, all right, the season's here, the game is here, now you can settle in and get things started.
People just know the voice. And you hear that voice, you know you're talking about Phillies baseball, Phillies sports.
Dan's one of those guys that he gets the fans going. One of the best PA announcers that's in the game here today.
Well, I think Dan's really a personable guy. I've never heard anybody say a bad word about Dan Baker.
I've always been a pretty good athlete, and I really love sports. And as a young boy, I had visions, dreams of me being a professional baseball player, a Phillies player. I was always a good speaker, and owing that to my mother and father, who were sticklers for articulation. My last 2 years at Glassboro State, I worked full-time in the mailroom at Channel 48. In that role, I also assisted the sports director, a fellow named Stu Nahan. Stu did some college football, and I would do statistics for him. I'd hoped that this might be a vehicle for me to realize my dream of attending a lot of sports events. Here are the starting lineups for tonight's National League game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros.
Dan Baker was one of the first impressions that I ever did. I went to my first ball game in 1972, and I heard his voice coming through the PA system. Center fielder Del Anser. And it was like, wow, that's the guy from the park.
I started in 1972, the second year of the vet. Pat Cassidy, who was the director of stadium operations, he said, the Phillies are thinking of making a change in PA announcers. My boss, Bill Giles, is the man who makes that decision. I think I could get you an interview with him. It was very important to Bill that I knew the game, and he just didn't want somebody who had a good voice and who could announce names. He wanted somebody who knew the game of baseball. Hi, Bob.
Good to see you.
How are you? Good to see you, sir. And another thing that Bill reminded me, you're not the star of the show. Those players are the star of the show. With my Phillies PA announcing, I do a lot of pregame events on the field. In fact, I do the lineups from the field. Leading off, number 11, shortstop, Jimmy Rollins.
When he is actually announcing the lineup and the way that he pronounces the words gives you goosebumps.
He enunciates every word. He's a real good model for an announcer.
I believe that I know when to emote and when not to emote. You can't always talk like it's the 7th game of the World Series. Batting third, number 8, center fielder Shane Victorino. If it's a game in which the Phillies are rallying, I will try to inject maybe a little bit more enthusiasm to help encourage the crowd. If the home team is losing by a lot, I will not try to insult the fans' intelligence by injecting false enthusiasm. Would you all please stand and help us honor the United States of America?
His voice has become so synonymous with the stadiums themselves and everything around it that it just gives you a comfort level when you get to the ballpark and you start to hear him.
You can hear a clear resonance and a softness, actually, in his voice. It's pleasant to the ear.
Dan's the type of guy that has his own personality when it comes to announcing names.
I do believe that certain names lend themselves to a more melodic interpretation. And of course, they're usually the polysyllabic names, multiple syllables. Now batting for the Phillies, number 27, third baseman Placido Polanco. I tried to give people an idea that something good was about to happen there and kind of get this game started off on the right foot. Leading off for the Philadelphia Phillies, number 11, shortstop Jimmy Rollins. I'm such a Phillies fan. I am a dyed-in-the-wool Phillies fan. That if Philadelphia fans associate with me, I am one of them. And I live and die with them. And when our team's doing well, I'm very happy about it. And when they're not, not so happy. Just like the fans.
The best thing about Dan is he's just the nicest guy in the world.
In baseball terms, he makes other people better. Really good to call him a friend and good to be around him.
It's kind of like Bob Shepard at Yankee Stadium, and every time you went to a Yankee game and you heard that voice, I mean, you knew that there was something special that was going on, and I think it's the same thing here.
I have been associated with the Phillies for 41 years now. Is a source of great pride for me. I love the Phillies with all my heart.